Practice the patented 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
The Antonuccis, singers, musicians, family. They've produced 4 albums of bluegrass music, much of it from their home in Grants Pass, Oregon. For many years, they've been entertaining family and friends with lively home concerts.
We had monthly music parties because we wanted our kids to be around the music.
The youngest son, Coleman, grew up a part of their musical tradition. In time, he took his place in the band alongside Dad, Gary, Mom, Debbie, and Uncle Rich. The home concerts grew into porch festivals.
Won't you ride on my grave? Man, there ain't no easy
And Coleman became lead singer.
No, there ain't no easy
The audience for their music grew.
There ain't no easy way. Coleman Antonucci.
And then the music stopped. Coleman was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, a non-curable inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract.
When I heard it, I felt like the rug had just been pulled out from under me.
Flare-ups left him fatigued, dehydrated, and in pain. Tell me about how the diagnosis of Crohn's has shaped your life.
I mean, I've been sick my whole life. I've had stomach problems as far back as I can remember. I did almost die a couple of times. I got to a point where I was having I was losing 3 or 4 pounds in a day. I couldn't even drink water. The diagnosis actually was a huge relief in a weird way. It's actually really comforting to know, oh, this is why my body is just deteriorating.
Prescribed corticosteroids caused mood swings and difficulty sleeping. It was disheartening to hear him tell of weeks when pain kept him from even leaving the house. If he was ever to live a normal life, turning things around would be up to him. With help from his family.
She's so excited going on our daily walk.
As he often did, Gary joined in the daily walk. His calm, relaxing presence eased the tension of the moment.
We
Left
couldn't.
of the tomatoes.
Right?
Yeah.
Mine look like that too.
Yeah, I had tomatoes for a long time this year. They really lasted. Yeah.
And they're always really good and really fruitful. And that's what we got going on.
I know.
My folks have had to live with this disease too. My mom supported me long before I was diagnosed.
He got heavy at an early age, and so he had to deal with the cruelty and the judgment a lot. And he really just always had that sense of self. He just made his way through. He just always did. I always told him it made for a rough childhood, but he was going to be a great adult.
Debbie grew up with a devoted mother as well. Mama moved from Tennessee to Glendale, Oregon as a teenager, along with many other friends and family.
Kind of a diaspora, you know. These Tennessee people came out to Oregon, but they brought their culture with them. The close family, Southern hospitality, that feeling was definitely a part of my growing up.
Tell me about music in your life.
I've had music in my life from the very beginning. We sang all the time. My mom sang all the time. My grandma sang all the time.
I remember lots of good times, simple things like making mud pies, laying back looking up at the sky, stick horses going out for a ride, a little playhouse and a big fir tree, long car rides just my family and me, stealing cherries from Mama Ruth, some of the good times of my youth. When I think about the little girl I used to be, sometimes it makes me smile. My mama wanted more for me than what she'd known in life. Mama did the best she could to get by.
Soon after the diagnosis, a friend told Debbie about the specific carbohydrate diet. It had helped the friend's grandson go into remission from Crohn's. Debbie encouraged Coleman to start the diet immediately.
He can't eat rice. He can't eat any grains. He can't eat, certain vegetables.
He knew he would be much more likely to stick with the diet if the food tasted good, so he pulled up a few dozen recipes online and learned how to cook. Sounds like the kitchen's open. Let's go see. Hi, Max. Hi, Evie.
Come on in. One of the things that I really like about this meal is that the consistency of it plays into how I eat. When I'm not doing good, I can't eat crunchy things. The thing about this is it's a smooth consistency. It has a fair amount of nutrition and the ginger. It's really good for your stomach. I like to make sure the oil's spread around. And then just do that ever so slight sizzle. Good Lord, sloppy. Just all over the stove. That's part of the recipe. Just throw your ingredients everywhere. I do have a certain appreciation for a nice presentation. And then we got a little guacamole. And we can throw a little bit of just pepper on the whole thing.
Thanks. I'll wait until we're through shooting.
This is so good. Just all those flavors. That's so good. I'm just gonna dig in.
Okay, we're through shooting. Let's eat. The specific carbohydrate diet helped him get off the corticosteroids. He smiled as he told me he wasn't the only one who benefited from his cooking.
My diet got my mom and dad to get very healthy. There's a lot of really weird moments because of what Crohn's disease did and made me do. It brought blessings into my life.
We were in high school and playing football, and then you made some decisions to change some things. Talk about how that decision came about.
I was terrible at football. I'd been in the swing choir. I had 2 years of it by junior year. And I wanted to try out for just the normal school play, and it conflicted with football. And I just decided no. They did a really big production show for a high school. And I went on to do a lot of theater after that.
How are you incorporating drama and acting into your life now?
I did the theater camp for the kids a few summers in a row. Yeah, I came in and I did a side project where I helped the kids write their own songs. I think one of the reasons why I liked to perform so much is because it was moments when people unobjectively told me that I was good at something.
I always loved music. He sang in that choir with me when he was 3. He started singing in the choir with me.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have music in my life. Ringing in my ear, a singing I could hear. I knew the answer could be near. On this historic day, I just found a way and let the humans sing. It's a music, it bounces in my brain. It's a music, looks like that's enough to save the planet. Give me a little guitar. It was music, it bounces in my brain. It's a music, it looks like that's enough to save the planet. It was music, it bounces through my brain. It was music, oh, looks like that's enough to save the planet.
Here's the in-home studio where the Antonucci's band, the Anthill, does live recording, with Coleman as producer.
Yeah, this will look good. A Family Tree was the first album completely recorded in our home studio. Mom, Dad, and I wrote all the songs on it. Rich, I'm just thinking we can start plugging you in, and I've got the stuff going on for your banjo.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Keep playing that, Rich. That sounded good.
Hearing my dad and Uncle Rich play bluegrass really gets me going. Sometimes I'll listen to their music when I'm going to the gym or when I'm out brush killing.
From the album Oregonized Bluegrass, here's Gary on guitar and mandolin, Uncle Rich on banjo playing tomahawk.
It's funny how fast the forest grows back. Some of these fir trees, they'll grow 8 to 10 foot a year. And we loaded it with dry stuff so that it would burn nice and hot. A lot of our friends burn wood, and so we let them come up and help, and the wood that they work for, they get to put in their truck.
Because it's all these leaves dead. Once all these leaves are done, the fire's not going to really be that big. Whenever I'm like out here working, I like to think of my grandpa. He would ride a bicycle 10 miles from his house. He'd come out here and he'd brush killer like this all day, and then he'd ride home. He had a certain level of work ethic that inspired me. Good old Papa. Yep, Papa was a badass.
He was a badass.
Debbie described Papa as wild in his youth, given to fast cars and fighting. After he married Mama, he settled down, a devoted family man from then on.
And when he was 62, he started having aneurysms. He'd work all day in the woods here, and then he'd ride his bike home.
It doesn't sound like he thought of himself as disabled.
He didn't. Coleman was in the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scouts decided to do a 50-mile hike for their summer camp experience.
That's ambitious.
And of course, he went with them. And his goal every day was to keep up with the little hotshots that would get out ahead of everybody. He said they'd look over their shoulder and they'd see me coming up on them, and they'd take off, and I'd catch up with them again. So he was a big influence on all of us.
Watching Papa work as hard as he did after his setback taught me never to give up. Crohn's disease or not.
He's pretty physical.
He's very physical. He's just always been really strong. He got strong because he had to. All the things he had to deal with. He's strong inside. He's very strong inside. He tightens the jar lids. I can't get them off.
How did the whole COVID experience change your life?
It gave me time to do the album. It took a lot of other priorities off the table.
What
It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful world. Beautiful, 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 beautiful world. What a beautiful world we live in. Such a beautiful world we live in. Made it through the song. Come on, next.